Hi, my name is Lewis Moynihan from Youth Football Scotland, and today's pre-match sees Blantyre Victoria take on Blantyre Celtic in a big game at the top of the league. First of all, thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll kick things off by heading over to the team that could be winning the league this weekend, and we will speak to Paul. And before we go on to the league and stuff like that, tell us a little bit, Paul. You said to us this is the first time since the 80s the club have met in 11-a-side. How big is this game in that respect? And tell us a little bit about the history of the two clubs.
Well, the clubs dated back. The two of them used to meet in the juniors back in the day, and they dated back over 100 years. The competition between the two local teams in Blantyre. Blantyre Celtic obviously ended up going out the game. Blantyre Vics, they've continued, and now it's like a friendly rivalry between the two clubs again. It's nice to see 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏, the game between the two. Gary's laughing there. He's like, it's maybe no friendly enough. But we're just looking forward to being part of it, get the players to be part of it, and as you say, there's a lot riding on it from our point of view, and as well as Blantyre Vic's point of view. They'll be coming to try and spoil things for us. I've no doubt about that, and the players will be looking forward to it.
Yeah. In terms of the league this season, how's it been? Obviously, it's always been a good season. You're right up the top there, winning the league. How are things looking at the weekend? Is it if you win, you'll win the league, or are you waiting on results elsewhere, or what's the stick?
No, if we win, we'll win the league. Granted, it's a diluted league. We've only managed to play half it, but still, there's a lot of games. It was 9 games out of potential 18, but because of COVID and whatever else, we had to split the league and only play half it. And we've been really good for we went back. We trained hard. Anything that we could, we put on Zoom training sessions and all that for the team, and they come in and they worked hard at it, and it's kind of paid off up to this point. They've still got the biggest game of the season that will be on Saturday for us. So hopefully they can go and get a result.
Yeah. Right, well, we'll switch over to the players now. We've got Ryan Healy here and Niall, who have been at the club right since the start, really. We'll go to you, Ryan, first. First things first, obviously it's been a tough year of football. As Paul touched about there, it's been a shorter season than you'd expect. How does it feel to be back playing football again, Ryan?
It feels brilliant because the lockdown really screwed it up, and since you couldn't go out, you couldn't hang about with your pals and all that and kick the ball about. So it's brilliant that we've got back into it and that we've been training hard and being able to play football again. It was brilliant.
Yeah. One for you, Niall. Obviously you've been at the club along with Ryan for the whole time it's been going. How have you found your time at Blantyre Celtic throughout the years, and how do you think it's helped you progress as a player?
Well, it's been really good meeting a lot of new friends, and it's allowed me to progress a lot. I feel that we've all came a very long way since we've started playing. Yeah.
Back up to you, Ryan. Obviously, as we've touched on, a huge game, 3 points and you win the league. How big achievement would that be for not only you personally, but for the whole club to win the league?
It would be brilliant because we would be the first Blantyre Celtic youth team to win a trophy in a league. So to have that honour to be a part of the squad to win, if we do win, the first league title for a youth Blantyre Celtic team, would feel great.
Yeah, and we'll finish up with one last one for you, Niall. Obviously, we've touched on it a bit, a local rivalry, a bit of a derby game. Does that add an extra little spice to it? Is it something you look forward to even more, playing a derby?
To be honest, yes. Along with the league deciding match, it brings a derby, and I think all of the boys just that wee bit more excited for the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, we will switch over to Gary at the VIC's, Gary Gilmore. Gary, I mean, we touched on it there with Paul about the history at Blantyre Celtic. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the history at the Blantyre VIC's?
Well, obviously, we've been going now for about 3 or 4 years. Just to 2008, the VIC's have no long started the academy, but as Paul said, the history goes back hundreds of years, and there's some famous players that played for both sides, and they've done really well. And it's good to see it coming back because it's been a long time missed. Blantyre Celtic actually had an amateur team when I was involved with another amateur team, and it was a good rivalry. So it's good to see it coming back, definitely, because as you say, the boys love it. You know what I mean? It's all about them and enjoying it, and let's not beat about the bush. We're here to try and spoil the party on Saturday, but what a job Paul's done with them. It's good to see, and it'd be good to see a Blantyre team winning the league, honestly.
Yeah, and you're talking about spoiling Paul's party and stuff like that. But how have you guys been getting on in the league this season? Whereabouts are you, and how have results and things been?
We're sitting third at the moment, and I don't think we can catch second place, but I think we've done well. We had a kind of ropey start. We've been a bit up and down. We lost a few players, but we just keep going. We've still got a squad of 20 boys, so it's been good. But especially just getting back after the year everybody's had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to touch on there. I mean, I spoke to the players there, obviously, about how it feels for them to be back playing football. But for you, to be back managing again and organising the boys, has that been a big, joy for you to be back involved in the football again?
Oh, definitely. I've been coaching kids teams since my wee boy was 4, so I get involved just as same as Paul, probably just because he wanted to enjoy his boy playing, and then before you know it, you're roped into it, and it's a big part of your life, and then before you know it, it was a wayfare for a year. So your Tuesdays and Thursdays were sitting in the house, and you end up out painting fences and stuff like that, and it's rather than doing training the boys and painting fences, you know what I mean?
Yeah, without doubt, all day, Gary.
Absolutely. Right, we'll head over to Rhys, who's there as well. Rhys, tell us a little bit from your personal perspective how you've found this season. Obviously a very different season, the stop and starting. How have you felt personally, about the season and your performances, etc.?
I mean, it's been a good season because, like, the season before we didn't do so good, but this season we got it back up.
Yeah. In terms of being back playing football again regularly, it must be great to be back again and back playing in big games like these. Yeah.
In lockdown, you couldn't do anything. It's not as if you could go out and play football with your teammates. So it's good to do that.
Yeah, I touched on it there with Niall. A big rivalry. Is that something that helps you, really get up for a game? Is trying to get one over in your local rivals?
Yeah, especially not making them try not win the league.
Yeah, that would be a big achievement. One last question for you. In terms of your future, what's your plans? Are you just enjoying where you're at the moment and playing football, or are you looking to do something more serious, or what's your plans in football for the future?
Well, I mean, I think everyone that plays football when they're younger wants to be a footballer when they're older, but it can't always happen. You just play work hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the hard work. Well, it's a big game at the weekend, guys. Thanks very much for joining me. Before we go, we will do a little score prediction from everybody if everybody wants to give a little, tuppence on how things are going to go.
Sorry, could I just quickly? We've got 2 girls that are away facing Saturday, and the 2 of them are actually playing up against each other. So I want to wish the 2 of them all the best. One of them's playing with Celtic, and one of them's playing with Glasgow Girls, and the 2 of them are actually competing each other. So it's 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏. So good luck tomorrow.
Good luck to
luck.
them.
And don't follow each other after the game, regardless of the result. I know, but I'll use it tomorrow.
We'll go with Ryan first. Ryan, how do you see the game going at the weekend, and what's your score prediction?
I could see the game being very tight because both teams will be wanting to do it. We'll be wanting to win the league, and Vix will be wanting to stop us winning the league. But no want to set the bar too high. I think we could maybe win 3 or 4-0.
That's not setting the bar too high. We'll head down to you, Paul, and then Niall, you can give your piece afterwards. Right, on you go, Paul. What do you think's going to happen the weekend?
I'll set my bar a wee bit lower than that. If we get a 1-0 win, I'd be delighted. As long as we can just get it over the line, I'll be over the moon with that. As long as we can get a good game, I'm sure we will. A good competitive, hard-fought game. That's what you can't ask for any more than that. So yeah, that's it. 1-0. I'll take it.
On you go now. Are you going to be more confident than that?
Well, I would say it would be a very tight match. Best team would definitely win. To me, it depends if what team would show up to play. But if both teams show up, I would obviously fancy Blantyre Celtic to win 2-0.
2-0.
Fair enough. Right, Gary. You had a lot of smack over from the other opposition there, but no score lines and that. What do you think is going to happen at the weekend?
Well, as I say, we've always had a good friendly rivalry, me and Paul, anyway. So may the best team win, and obviously we'd like to spoil the party and finish as best we can for the season. But all the best to them, and if they win it, well done.
Good luck, Gary.
Reese, you got a score prediction there before we go?
I mean, I think it'll be hard. I think we'll win maybe 1-0, 2-1.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks very much for joining me today for YFS pre-match. Big ones to look out for: Blantyre Vix against Blantyre Celtic. Right, guys, thanks very much.